In this tutorial, we are going to design again a different app. We are not going to design apps based on the algorithm at the moment, and this is going to be a little bit different one. We are going to design an app that you can start drawing shapes on the screen. The design of the screen looks like this image here. You have 3 buttons here. One is red, blue, and green. Clicking on any one of them is going to change the color that you are going to draw. So if I click on red, my drawing is going to be red, blue is going to be blue, and green the same way. We are going to also have 4 buttons at the bottom. One of them is going to take a picture using your device. The next one is to clear the drawing part of the app here. Big dots, if you click on this one, is going to draw a circle which is going to be filled based on the colors that you have picked. So, and if you click on big dots again, it's going to make the radius bigger. So as you click on big dots, you're going to draw a bigger circle. And the small dots is the opposite of big dots, is going to make the circles smaller and smaller. Now here I have the same app in my emulator, and I will show you what is the end product. Let's say I click on blue, so my drawing is going to be blue color. Now you can see when I left click on my mouse and I move the cursor, it's drawing blue shape curve. If I click on green, now my drawing is going to be green. If I click on blue, still blue, red, I'm going to get red color. If I click on white, it's going to clear the drawing. If I click on small dots, you can see that it's red and it's a small circle. If I click on blue and then make it bigger dot, you can see now it's a big circle. If I click again big dots, the circle is bigger. Big dots, bigger circle, and so forth. So this is our app, the end product. So let's go ahead and start making the app. So let's start a new app and let's call it My Drawing. Click OK. Now you're going to have our basic design. Again, we're going to change the title and we're going to change it to mypaint. Now, any type of drawing on the screen in App Inventor, you have to have something that we call canvas. So we're going to go to drawing and animation and we're going to drag and drop a canvas on the screen. We are going to make the width to be parent, so the width is going to be fill parent. If you remember, there were a few buttons at the bottom. So let's make the height to be, let's say at the moment, to be 50%. So 50%. And at the bottom, we also need a horizontal. Now at the bottom, we need a table arrangement which has one row, but it has 4 columns for 4 buttons. And I want the width to fill the parent. So the width is going to fill the parent. Now the only thing we have to do is we have to drag and drop 4 buttons here. So I'm going to go to user interface. I'm going to drag and drop the first button. The first cell is highlighted, so I put it here. Then I drag and drop the second button, which is going to be here. Now let's change the text for this one first to, let's say, camera. Let's change the text on this one to say white. Now let's drag and drop another button here. Let's say we call this one big dots, or let's call it big. We need another one. Let's call it small. Now, to make it a little bit better, I'm going to change, because this is 100% of the width, so I'm going to change each one of them to be 25%. So the width to be 25. This one, the width to be 25. This one, the width to be 25. And this one, the width to be 25%. Now, as you can see that all the buttons, they're occupying the same width, which is 25%. The other thing we have to do is we have to have 3 buttons on the top, which corresponds with 3 different colors. So again, I'm going to go and drag and drop a table on the top of canvas. Again, the table is going to be, the width is going to be fill parent. I need 3 buttons here. So the first one, before I do that, I just need 3 columns and the rows to be 1. Now the first button, I drop it here. The second button I drop beside it, and the third button I drop beside the second one. Now, the first one, let's say we decide to have red color. Red. The next one, I want to have blue. And the last one, let's say we want to have green. Now again, the width now, because it's 100% divided by 3, it's going to be about 33%. So the width, I'm going to set to 33%. The next one, I'm going to change the width again to 33%. And the last one, I'm going to change the width again to 33%. So all the buttons on the top also are set. Now the other thing I want to do is to change the background color of red to be red. So I go here and I change the background and I make it red. The blue one, we can go here and change it to blue. And the green one, we go here and change it to green. So now these are the colors that I picked. This is my canvas, and these are the buttons to do the operations. Now let's look at our design so far. Now, as you can see, this is our design, and this is the end result of what we have done so far. The only thing which is missing is the background for the canvas, which is on a site and easier than you think that we have to download. So to do that one, go on Google, easier than you think, /HTML images, canvas.jpg. And if you hit enter, you will get this image. Now let's right click on the image and say save image as. I'm going to save it on my desktop. You can save it anywhere you want. Leave the name as canvas and the type as JPEG, and then save. Now close this screen. Now go to your design, click on the canvas, and then the background image, upload file, select the file. Remember, this is on your desktop and it's called canvas. So I just changed date, modified, and then I'm going to pick canvas, and then I'm going to select the canvas. Now you can see the background of the canvas is changed, and if I go to my design, then it has to appear on the emulator, and you can see that the emulator now has changed to the one that we want. Now is the time to start coding. The first thing we want to do is that remember that when we click on big dot or small dot, the radius has to change. So we need a variable to keep track of the radius. So let's call the variable name radius size. Let's start with the size to be 5 pixels. Now the second thing that we have to do is that when we touch the screen, or at the moment when I click on the canvas, I have to start, and that one is through small pieces of line. So go to the canvas one, and when I drag my finger on the canvas or the mouse on the emulator, I want to draw lines here. So I'm going to say again canvas, but this time I want to draw line. So go and find draw line. Now the draw line is going to be from the previous X and Y to the new X and Y. So I'm going to say previous X and then previous Y, and I want to draw to the new or current X and current Y. The other thing I want to do is I would like to set the color of the painting or of all these drawings when the buttons are clicked. So let's go back to the designer. Let's change the name for button 5, which is corresponds to red. Rename it to red. let's change button 6 to blue, and let's change button 7 to green. Now let's go back to blocks. Now when red button is clicked, what I want to do, so I go, when the red button is clicked, I want to set the paint color for drawing canvas to be the red color. So I'm going to go and I'm going to go to canvas. I'm going to set canvas paint color. I want this one to be now red. So there are two ways I can do it. I can either set the paint color to the background color of the button, or I can go to colors and pick the red color here. Now I will do the same thing for blue color. So I'm going to say when blue color is clicked, I'm going to duplicate this one, and this one has to be blue. So let's select blue, which is here. Now I can right click on this one and set this one to green, and then change this color to, let's say, green color. Now so far we are able to draw on the screen. Let's check to see if our app is working. So if I click on red and I left click and draw, then you can see that the red appears. If I click on blue, you can see blue appears. If I click on green, then the dark green appears here. Now let's go ahead and design the rest of the program. The next one that we want to do is we want, when we touch the screen on our device, we want to be able to draw circles. So for this one, I'm going to go on canvas again, and this time we're going to go on canvas, and I'm going to drag and drop canvas that's touched. This one is going to be activated, this block, as soon as I touch the screen on my device. And what I want to do, I want to draw a circle with this radius equal to radius size. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, as soon as the canvas is touched, I'm going to go and draw a circle. So draw a circle. Now the center X and Y are the center of the circle. The radius is the radius size, and filled, if we want the circle to be filled with assigned color, the paint color, we can leave this one as true, otherwise we can set it to false. At the moment we just leave it as true. What I want to do is to get the radius size and set the radius to be the radius size, and the X to be where I touch the screen, and the Y to be the same thing, where I touch the screen. So this, whenever I click and I touch the screen, is going to draw the circle. Now the only thing we have to do now is we have to change the size of the radius. To do that one, remember we had these big and small. So let's change the name of button 3 to big. Let's change the button 4 to small. Let's go back to blocks. Now I'm going to say when the big is clicked, the button corresponding to big is clicked, I'm going to add to radius size a constant, let's say 5 pixels. So every time we click on the big button, I want to add 5 pixels to the previous size. So I'm going to go and bring an addition block. Now I have to add 5, so drag and drop one of these blocks. I change this one to 5, and I need the previous radius. So I'm going to say duplicate this one and then add 5 to it. The same thing when I click small, this time I want to subtract 5. So I'm going to go to blocks and I'm going to drag and drop a subtraction block, and I'm going to say subtract 5 from this. Now the only problem here is that what about if the radius is already, the previous one is 5, and then we subtract 5, then it becomes 0. What about if the radius is 0? If you subtract is -5, which is going to be a problem. So we have to check to see if this global radius size is, let's say, greater than or equal to, let's say, 10. So I go to a control and I'm going to bring one if, then I need one conditional statement, then I'm going to say if previous radius is greater than or equal to 10, then I'm going to do this operation. So if the global radius size is greater than or equal to 10, then I'm going to subtract 5 from the global radius size. So far we have done this. Let's go and see how the program works. So let's click on small. You can see it's a small one. Let's say we click on blue, we click big, you can see it's a big one. Again, click big, bigger one, big, bigger one, and you can see that everything is working at the moment. The only thing we have to do is the wipe and camera. So let's go back to our design. Now in the design, the wipe is button 1, so let's rename it to wipe. And the camera, let's rename it, as you guessed, to camera. Now let's go to our design. To do the wipe one, I'm going to click on the wipe. So when this one is clicked, I just want to clear the canvas. So I'm going to say canvas, canvas 1, and then you can see the block here. Remember, when you clear the canvas, I also want to set the global radius size to 5, the initial value. So I duplicate the whole block here. And I'm going to set the radius size to be 1. So this is the wiping is done. Now the last thing that we have to do is to take a picture and change the background image on our canvas to the image that we take. So we go to camera, and then we say when camera is clicked, take a picture. Okay? To take a picture, we have to go to our design again, and this time we have to go to media and drag and drop a camera on the screen. Now, camera is a hidden block. We don't see it on the screen, but we can use the components in the design of the code. So if you go back to the blocks, when camera is clicked, what I want to do is to take a picture. So we go to camera, camera 1, and then we say take a picture. What this one does, it takes the picture. But after the picture is taken, we can process the picture. So we are going to go to camera 1 again, and it says when camera 1 dot after picture. So I need this block too. And then I have to set the background of the canvas. So I go here, and I'm going to set background image to be the image that the camera takes. And that's it. This is the whole blocks that is needed for our app to be operational. So let's go and check to see if the app is functioning. The only thing you have to remember is that I cannot show you the operation of camera because my computer here doesn't have the onboard camera, and I am sure if you try it on your own device, you will see that when you click on camera, it takes the picture, and here the background is going to be the picture that you have taken. But let's see if the wiping button works. So let's draw some red lines here, curves here. If I click on wipe, you can see it works. If I click on big, it's going to draw a circle which is filled with red color. If I click big again, it's going to be bigger. If I click small, then it's going to be small, small. And you can see that it doesn't get smaller than 5 pixels.